My friends, welcome to my channel, guys. My name is Kai. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hey, listen, I have a terrifying story to tell you. Despite my cute background, I have something really sad and dark to talk about today. So, my friends, today I'm going to talk about something, and the reason why I'm making this video is I have a motto for myself. I heal in public so other people can heal in private. So I really hope that by talking about this, maybe it inspires somebody out there to get some help for themselves or talk about their own problems with their friends. So guys, today I am going to talk about my last suicide attempt. The last time that I tried to commit suicide. I'm going to tell you guys a story because it is pretty crazy how intense it gets. So, my friends, let me begin. So, you guys know I've had 5 suicide attempts in my life. By the end of when I was an alcoholic, I was so sad and so depressed and so down in my life that I truly believed I'd never be able to be sober again. So I tried to commit suicide multiple times, and not little things either. Like, I was hospitalized and put on a Form 1 for these things, so they were very serious, you know? Now, when I tried to commit suicide, I always tried either one time with poison, and then the other 3 times I tried, because I take a lot of depression medication, I take a lot of medication for mental health, and I basically took my entire bottle of prescription pills and mixed it with alcohol. I thought that would do it, but it didn't, you know? So I got to the point where I was trying to kill myself, but it wasn't working. You know, so I came up with this insane plan, this absolutely batshit insane plan. And what I figured was I didn't want to jump. I didn't want to jump off of something because that was too terrifying, you know. I wanted to have like an instant gone, you know. And now here in Canada, I'm Canadian, right? And it's not like we have guns here. I mean, people have guns in Canada, but guns are not a normal part of society, you know? I can't just, as a Canadian, have the right to go to the store and buy a gun, right? But I really wanted to get my hands on a gun, right? And the only way that I could do that was if I joined the military. So, that's what I did. That's what I did. I signed up for the Canadian Armed Forces, and I don't have any, like, evidence of this, like the paperwork or anything to show you, but I do have some things that I will talk about that if you have been in the Canadian Forces, you'll know that I'm telling the truth because I'm going to kind of explain the process, you know? So basically, I called them up, and I said, hey, I'm interested. And they directed me to a recruiting office that was in Barrie, Ontario. That's about an hour and a half away from where I live, and I couldn't get there on my own, so I actually asked my dad to drive me down to the thing. Little did my dad know the plan that I was actually coming up with, right? But we went down to Barrie, and I did basically like a half day of testing. And they tested us on a whole bunch of different things. One of the tests that I'll bring up because it's pretty unique and pretty random, just to prove that I actually went through this testing. If there's anybody out there in the forces who have done this, please let me know in the comments. But basically, they give you a bunch of math problems and everything like that. And one of the problems that they give you is they'll take a cube and they'll unfold the cube, right? So it looks like a T, right? And they'll draw all these different designs on the T, and then you have to figure out what it looks like when it's all combined. So they'll give you the flat box, they'll put a bunch of designs on it, and then underneath there'll be like 4 cubes that have the designs, and you have to pick which one matches, you know? So there was a bunch of testing, and what I wanted to do, well, I just I'll get to that, but I applied to be a bosun. A bosun is a Navy member who works on like the top deck of a ship. They operate like the guns, they do the life rafts, they do everything on the top deck, you know, so that's what I was applying for. And I passed the testing. I didn't pass it by a lot, but I passed it enough to be eligible for it. And they also give you a personality test. They also give you a personality test and ask you things like, how are you in small spaces? How are you with groups of people? Like, do you prefer to work with groups, or do you they ask you a personality test to see if it'll match with the position that you're going for, right? So either way, I did all the testing, and I basically got in. All I needed to do was provide, there was like 2 or 3 documents that I needed to provide, but I went after the testing and everything like that. I was brought into the recruiter's office, and he said, okay, well, right now there's, I think there was like 82 or 83 positions for that open, and I would be eligible for it. And basically all I needed to do was, the offer was there, you know. All I needed to do was provide some paperwork, and I would have been signed up, and within a few days I would have been brought to the Toronto airport, and I would have flown down to Saint Jean. So let me tell you why I wanted this. I just wanted a gun. I just wanted a gun. I had done some research into the Canadian Armed Forces, and I found out that during the 15-week training at the school, you get your firearm in, I think, the 4th or the 6th week. So I thought to myself, if I can just put up with this stuff for 4 or 6 weeks, I will have my hands on a gun, and finally I can just end it. And what I was going to do, I was actually going to like commit a national tragedy, you know. I wouldn't say that I was going to be like a school shooter by any means, because I didn't want to harm anybody other than myself. I didn't want to go out in like a blaze of glory by hurting a lot of people. However, what I wanted to do was, in Army training, you have like your parades. You have your different parades and stuff that you do. And I'm not talking necessarily like public parades. I'm just talking about you go on marches, you do stuff like that. So what I was going to do was I was going to get a white t-shirt, and I was going to write something like, you know, fund male mental health programs, or I was going to write something on my shirt about funding mental health, or helping men's mental health, or helping suicide prevention, stuff like that. I was going to write that on my shirt, and then during the parade, hopefully while there was like a news camera there or something like that, I was just going to shoot myself. And I knew that doing something like that, number one, it would have ended me in just a moment. I knew that I would have had access to the weapon, and I know that if I did that in a public setting like a march or something like that, and especially if I had that message written on my shirt, I thought for sure that's going to be headline news, and maybe I can be a martyr, or I can be an example of what happens when people don't fund that kind of stuff. So that's something that I was going to do, and basically that was my last suicide attempt, you know. Once I got that call from the recruitment office saying, hey, you're like ready to go, we just need this document. I think it was my high school diploma, because I had all my college stuff and I had all that, so they knew I graduated high school, but I needed, either way, once I got that call and they were saying, hey, you're in, you know, I immediately hung up. I said, I'm not interested anymore. I hung up, and I called my grandmother, and I've talked about it on the channel before. My grandmother had been telling me for years that she would spend like her life savings on sending me to a private rehab facility so I could get better. And when I got that call from the recruitment office and I knew that basically my time was ticking, I knew for sure that I was going to do it. So I called my grandmother and I said, listen, I've hit rock bottom. I will accept your help. Let's do it. Let's get into rehab. And 3 days later, I was in rehab. So I'm so happy that I never did that. It's definitely the darkest thing that I've ever come up with. I can definitely relate to how some of these insane people feel when they want to, you know, go after the world and stuff. It was a very, very, very rough and hard time for me. But I'm unbelievably happy that I'm over it now. And again, I still do have suicidal thoughts. It's something that I've been talking about on the channel. It's something I'm going to be talking about more on the channel because I really want to inspire people and I really want to let people know that it's okay to talk about these things, and there is an audience that wants to hear this stuff. So if you are going through these feelings, you know, talk to someone. I've been going through suicidal thoughts ever since I got sober. Even when I was living in Japan with an incredibly beautiful, caring woman, and my life was on top of the moon, you know, I was still suicidal. But I'm dealing with it now, and that's really great because I've been putting it off for several years. But now I'm happy to say I am in therapy now. I'm regular every Thursday at 4:30. I go to therapy. I've signed up for 13 weeks and we've already done 2 of them. I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling happy. So I am working on these things. So that's my story. I just wanted to let you know a little bit more about me. I hope that doesn't scare you, you know, but it was a really sad time in my life. Either way, guys, thank you so much for listening to what I have to say. Buy some merch. I've got merch out now. I would really appreciate it. Right now I'm trying to raise money to bike across Japan. Any money that I make from my YouTube channel or my merch is going directly into a fund to buy a bike for Japan. After I'm done the bike ride, I'm going to sell the bike and donate the money to the men's shelter in my town. So any donations, any merch sales, I really appreciate it, guys. And remember, if you're feeling bad, talk to somebody about it because it can really, really help you out. Alright, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye!
Thank you for watching そばリビング